All right. Whew. That was one hell of a workout for me. I mean, not for most people, not for normal human beings. That would have been a nice light exercise. For me, it was brutal. Just gonna back the truck up. Oh God, I forgot. I'm back in the noisiest of all possible Canardian caverns available. It's going to be too expensive to actually soundproof this thing, so I'm just going to put up with it. I'm just going to make the most of it and use microphones as best as possible. All right, setting up. If I put this on a tripod, it might be easier for everybody than me shaking the camera the whole time. How is everybody? Can I see a chat on this thing? I've forgotten. It's been so long since I've done this. I think there's a chat. Welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. All right, that's it. Oh, Garrett Kennedy. Thank you for double checking that for me. Where can I put you all? I put you up here. So yes, I'm back on the torture device again. Marcos Narvaez, good morning to you. Narvaez. I can't walk too far because I've got a cable attached to me. I need my glasses, though, because I can't see anything, because I'm blind as a bat these days. I'm also sweaty as a pig. What do you want to say? It's pretty gross as always, now that I'm back to my BurnAndLearns. Yes, good morning, good sir, to you, Pac-Man. And Lindsay, hello, and Candace. Oh, this is nice. All right, I'm back to it. I just thought, you know what? I am a giant French croissant right now. Just absolutely so unfit in every way between, months of COVID lockdowns and sicknesses and arms and all sorts of stuff. I've just not done much in the way of exercise. Happy to see a burn and learn after a long while. I know, Marcos. No kidding, huh? I mean, I just thought if I'm going to do it, I might as well let you know, because there's just that slight chance I might guilt myself into doing more of it. Have I heard any more news on an up-to-date on Stargate, Mr. Rover Pilot? There's always, that is a question I get every single time, and I don't mind answering it, because I just don't know. I'll tell you what I told everyone at the Paris Manga and Sci-Fi Expo, which I highly recommend to everyone, whether I'm there or not. It's just a great, great event. My glasses are fogging up again. It's just an amazing event. I met some amazing people there. I met this wonderful Pokemon artist whose name I'm not even going to try to say. It'll be in my Burn and Learn. This is a Burn and Learn. It'll be in my email of awesomeness this week. Did some amazing Pokemon cards, and his artwork is just extraordinary. And he was very kind to share a bunch of that stuff with me. And then, of course, there's Elijah Wood, who I've never met before. I've seen him at conventions before. I've sort of we've crossed in hallways and things. But I only actually got to sit down with him this time, and he's just the most absolutely wonderful human being. And if he's ever showing up in your town, you should go and see him and say hi, because he's lovely. No projects right now, Candace. It's the SAG is still on strike, so that's really reduced the number of things available. There's a few little Canadian things here and there, which you do for love, not money. So there's a little short film I want to do, and there is rumors that Guillermo may have something for me in his next thing, but we'll see. I never want to count those Guillermo del Toro chickens until they hatch into whatever horrible beasts they are. So basically what I've been doing is trying to work out what I'm going to do online. I got a bunch of stuff I want to do online now. I mean, I've tried a number of things as TV and film projects, and I'm just finding it very frustrating. I'm finding the film and TV world very, very frustrating. There's interest there. There's people who want to make movies and stuff, but it just doesn't. It's so random. It really bothers me, and I'm much, much more excited by the Hacksmiths of the world and the people who I'm seeing. These YouTubers that I'm seeing building their own stuff, on their own terms, and I find that extraordinarily exciting, especially for someone like me who doesn't, I think I will always have acting as an income, not always as reliably as I'd like, but that's what's paid the bills since I was 15 years old, so I just thought it'd be really fun to have something like a real push at the YouTube stuff. And I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to focus it on. But I'm going to keep doing my little tech bandits and stuff as well. But I'd like to sort of figure out a couple of sort of ongoing channels that'd be kind of fun to play with. So, oh my God, he's back! It's true, Brick Tech. And look. You should do like a before and after. No, an after and before. Someone should definitely take a photo of my last. Well, I guess you wouldn't have to do my last photo, would you? You'd have to take my last Burn and Learn, last in the list of Burn and Learns, and put it beside me now. God, I don't want to do that. Don't actually, nobody do that. That is a Photoshop I don't want to see. But yeah, I gotta get some exercise going. It's winter is coming, and I know what's going to happen. It's going to make me very sedentary. There's going to be lots of turkeys and Christmas puddings and things, and I just thought I would get a head start on it in November as opposed to my usual panic at the end of December when I'm like, oh my God, I can't move. I make noises when I walk. So that is a way back, isn't it, Marcos? I mean, I don't even know, how long has it been? Can anyone tell me how long it's been? Like since I actually did a Burn and Learn? I feel like the pandemic, just before the pandemic, I may have stopped. I mean, hello, whoever's speaking in is it Cyrillic? Is that what it is? I don't know what that says, but I will say hello to you. I wish I knew how to speak more languages. God, wouldn't it be amazing to be one of those people who can just speak just like have a look and just go through this list of chat and just like say hello to everyone in their own language. Anyways, hello and welcome. Shoot ID, say a year or so, give or take. Oh, really? Okay, so it's only been a year. You missed your content, Hope. The trip was good. Missed your content. Oh, good. Eye Doctor, thank you. The trip was extraordinary. Like it was, I fall in love with Paris every time. Admittedly, I have a slightly twisted perspective on travel. For example, we went to Sacré-Cœur, and there's this beautiful, church, and there's of course the steps I geek out about because that's where the whole John Wick 4 fight took place. So Jane and I ran up and down those stairs. It was kind of fun. Actually, we walked up both of them because they're actually exhausting. I can't imagine fighting them as well, and I'm very jealous that Keanu was that fit. That's why I'm on the elliptical. That's also it, yeah, because the steps of Sacré-Cœur were so bad. But here's the thing. What people don't tell you about Sacré-Cœur is it is swarming with rats. Like absolutely swarming with them. It was so cool. I had like the camera out, I had the light on, I was like going into dark corners and seeing and trying to film all these poor rodents. I discovered in many a case I didn't actually have. I was so nervous about stepping on something, I didn't record a lot of the stuff. But yeah, there were rats, like this big. I almost can't get it in the frame. I need to be further back. Almost like this big in the garbage cans and just waddling across the closed section of Sacré. They closed the bottom section of Sacré-Cœur in Paris at night, and it's beautiful. You go to the top and you could look out. It's this beautiful view, but everyone's sitting on the stairs, and I'm like, because it's like I can see all these rats all around. So, anyways, fascinating, absolutely fascinating. And of course, I checked every bed for bed bugs because there was lots of news about that. And my typical hypochondria approach to travel. I am a terrible traveler. The reality is I get to every hotel and I go, I like my bathroom better. I am the most horrible, spoiled North American traveler. But I gotta say, I also, it's, part of it's just getting to just hang out with Jane, who's just absolutely brilliant and funny and beautiful. And I just get to, it's just, she's a pleasure to hang out with anywhere. But, particularly in Paris when she's enjoying herself and we had one of our oldest friends meet us for the weekend so that Jane had someone to hang out with while I was doing my convention, which was also extraordinary. Oh my God. I had it's been a really long time since I've done a proper con. And, one of the things I promised myself with this whole convention thing, because I was very nervous about getting into them at first, it felt somehow, I don't know, exploitive a bit. I felt a bit exploitive because I don't like this whole paying for signatures and stuff. But it was explained to me by someone who's a big sci-fi fan, who explained it to me and said, it's kind of like you're the entertainment at the wedding. The wedding's happening anyways. Just if you want to show up, show up. We're not idiots. We'll pay for what we want to pay for, and we won't pay for what we don't want to. So, and that was really quite a sort of, in fact, it was a couple. They were actually sort of almost offended that I was so sort of against it, that I somehow had such a low opinion of, in their perspective, I had a low opinion of the fans because I thought the fans were being taken advantage of, and they're like, we're not being taken advantage of. We know exactly what's going on. So that sort of changed it for me, and I started doing some more of the conventions. But I promised myself from the very beginning that I wasn't going to make this this wasn't going to be the income. This was not going to be. I mean, yes, it could be about the money. Of course, the money is necessary. You have to have money to survive, to eat, to be able to do things, to go and say hello to everybody, to be in a good mood, I suppose, to some extent. If you're well looked after, of course, you're in a better mood for these things. But it's just been a long time since I've done it, and I really, really enjoyed it. I've actually signed up for a couple more now. I've just signed something. Well, I don't know what I'm allowed to say, actually, now that I say that. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm allowed to confess to, but yeah, I've just signed for a couple more, including I think Basingstoke has been mentioned already, but there's one in England, Basingstoke. I don't know what the dog is barking about, but I'm sure that she'll figure it out, or someone will. Oh, you know what it is? It's probably the dog walker returning. Anyways, so I'm of course in the Canardian cave. I've got the CNC machine out there. Had that cutting circles the other day for one of our tech bandits. I don't know whether I'm going to be streaming here or whether I'm going to be streaming inside, because the weather is, I mean, it definitely gets cold in here. It's got these cement floors, and Canadian winters, they get pretty damn chilly. So I'm a little concerned about how I'm going to heat it. I wondered about building a little box in here that could be sort of soundproofed and heat-proofed or weatherproofed. But I'm just worried that I'm just building another box that needs to be torn down at some point. I have to figure out what I'm doing there. Anyways, hey there, greetings from Hungary, Central Europe. I know Hungary very well. I was married to a Hungarian for a couple of years and visited Budapest, beautiful, beautiful city. I'm going to Basingstoke. Good, Lindsay, so am I. My first ever con, and looking forward to it. Wow, okay, Lindsay, well, prepare yourself. I've never been to the Basingstoke one, so I've heard nothing but great things about it. So, and there's also going to be some fun. I think there's going to be some robots, and I'm going to try to do some tech banditry stuff as well. I'll do a little educational stuff as well, so it could be kind of fun. Get to geek out with some real stuff. Any big jet lag? It's a long flight. No. You know what? I was sort of joking that we flew Jane class. So Jane is the master of getting deals and such with her with her flights and her various different BA memberships and stuff. Anyway, so we flew business, and I'll tell you, the holiday starts the moment you hit at the airport, because there's a lounge there that Jane knows all the lounge stuff, and so she took me to the lounge and stuff. It was so it really took some of the stress. I am a big stressor on airports. I want to be there like a day early. I want to line up from the very beginning. And Jane is one of those sort of seasoned travelers who can just sort of swan in at the last minute and charm her way into just about anything. So I just basically followed her around, but it was great. It was fantastic. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was just a great, absolutely amazing trip. So the jet lag was not really a problem. We also had this weird 2 time. So I'm in England. No, I'm not in England. I was in Paris and doing the convention. And between the Saturday and the Sunday, they changed the clock. So the clocks went back an hour. So I got an extra hour sleep, which was lovely, because there was a get this, there was a rugby game on that I watched. My son sort of has, as a means of things to communicate with my son about, he's got me into a couple of sports, including rugby and football, soccer. And it's so funny. My friends laugh at me because they're like, you're watching sports? I was like, well, only to talk to the kid about it. But yes, I watched the final rugby match, which is just extraordinarily, what a brutal sport and really fun to watch. I feel sort of slightly guilty saying that. Watching people hurt themselves is somehow very enjoyable. But I had a kind of a fun time watching that. And what was the point of that? Because I was there the time. Yeah, so the time lag, the jet lag stuff. So I had an hour there, and then we came back, and then of course on Sunday we had the same thing here. So I've sort of got a couple of extra hours of sleep every day, which is quite nice. Rugby, it's intense. It's insane. It should be played by robots. They should just have robots do it, because humans get their ears pulled off and their heads bashed in and their legs pulled off, and it's just I couldn't get over it. Good feeling in France last week. Oh man, Lud, Marty Taylor. It was just great. It was just great. I gotta say, like, everyone was so lovely. It's, unlike the early days when it was like crazy busy, and it was like, you gotta sign 500 of these things, you gotta do it fast, go. Stargate's been off the air for a while, so there's not as many people, and as a result, I have more time to talk to everybody, and it's just, I've always preferred that. Like, I always feel like the reason, you don't come for a signature, you come to say hi. I mean, like, so, I like to sort of do as much of that as possible, and I always used to get stressed. I used to get so beat myself up and get angry at the convention people because they're always like trying to get me to speed things up. And this was nice because there were like enough people, but not too many people. So there was I got to sort of chat with people who wanted to talk, and some people didn't. I mean, some people get really nervous, I think, or some people just want the autograph. I don't know. So there's a couple of people who were just like, maybe it was just my abysmal French. That could have been part of it as well. So time change screwed everything up. I was the only one that showed up at work. Yeah, Candace, I've been there. It is a bit weird here in Sweden. It's getting dark at 4. Well, Toronto. It'll start. Yeah, we're in that time of year in Toronto where it gets a bit grim. It gets a bit dark and it gets a bit gloomy and a little bit rainy and cold and I'm not looking forward to winter. Not looking forward to winter. I don't like winter. Not a fan. It was so lovely to have a little bit more time to talk with you. Oh, good, Charlotte's boss. That's good. I'm glad you appreciated it too. It just makes all the difference. You know what I mean? It also makes me feel less, icky about it. You know what I mean? There's something very odd about people paying to meet you. I find it very odd. I suppose it's an imposter syndrome of some sort, but it's always felt strange. It feels even stranger now because the show's not on anymore. But I do really appreciate, people showing up and what I love about it is, of course, the people like McKay are often into the cool tech stuff as well, or at least there's always cool stuff to talk to people about. I talk to people about, this Japanese artist. I had a great chat with him about assembly language because he said he's mentioned programming. I said, oh, what do you program? And he goes, oh, no, you wouldn't. It's not. It's really nerdy stuff. And I said, trust me, I will know what you're talking about. And sure enough, he mentioned assembly. And I was like, oh my God, because I just, that says something about a person if they can and will program in assembly. Or assemblers, whatever the term is. I bought a very big book on it and I started working through it. And I just, certainly at the time, didn't have the patience for it. Speaking of which, this is interesting. So, I came back, and there's, as always, you come back home and you're like, okay, that's it. It's like New Year's Eve all over again. I'm like, this is it. I've got a bunch of things I'm going to do. One of the things I'm absolutely focused on now is finishing the final project for this Google Analytics course because I really want to do some more analytics stuff. I'm really enjoying the Python, playing with cleaning up data and moving data around and stuff. But Jane pointed out that while this while my science fair project is great, like what I've been doing is scraping data about science fair projects to try to get an idea of the sentiment of students. And then I started looking at the data and I started going like, well, wait a second, but they're getting incentives from different groups to do stuff. So it's very hard to get a sense of sentiment because in some cases there are not corporate, but maybe governmental, I don't know, there's exterior influences saying like, oh, hey, this year we're focusing on biotech or this. So of course you see a bump in this stuff because of that. Anyways, fascinating data. Very, very hard to clean because it's from multiple sources. I don't have the skills to figure it out. I was looking at AI and having natural language processing packages that I brought into Python to do some stuff for me, but it was a lot of data and I was struggling with it. And I realized I was making it too complicated. And Jane said, look, why don't you do something that relates to film and TV? Because then, it's in your wheelhouse, you understand it, it's what people expect as opposed to this, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math education stuff is sort of news to a lot of people, whereas film and TV would make a lot of sense to me and my whoa, oh boy, that was a rat, and not a French rat. Dog, there's a rat here. Why didn't you get it? Oh my God, what a useless dog. It's just lying there. It could have been like a rat just walked by, literally just waddled right across the doorway. Oh my God. They followed me home. My biggest fans are rodents. That's it. Maybe I should add rodents to my list of animals that I do for Tech Bandits. God, it was freaking huge. I just sort of looked. I was like looking at the screen and going like, "Oh, that's not a bad little framing." And then I was like, "What's that?" And I look, and I just saw the tail, the butt and tail waddle by. And the dog's on a break. Exactly, Trey. Exactly. The dog's on a break. Screw this. Yeah, giant freaking rat. They're called Scandinavian something or another rats here. They're giant. I don't know why we're blaming the Scandinavians for it, because they're obviously Canadian, but they're big, plump, and freaking vicious. I used a hockey stick. There was one that was trapped under the desk here. I sat down at the desk. The dog kept trying to get into my legs. I'm like, "What are you doing, dog? Get out! I'm not giving you the attention." Well, it wasn't trying to get attention. It was trying to get to the rat that was hiding just about a foot away from my legs. And so I sort of got up, and I got up very quickly, screaming. And I took a hockey stick, and I didn't want to hurt the thing. I just wanted to sort of guide it out. So I took the stick and I started trying to guide it out, and it took a chunk out of the hockey stick. Like, this is a fiberglass woven, wood stick that was, that's reinforced with like layers of fiberglass and stuff, and it just popped a chunk out of it with its teeth. I couldn't get over it. Maybe it wanted to run some lines with you. Yeah, it's exactly. Someone said it was they were Cabinets of Curiosity graveyard rat fans. So I'm really big with the rodent community. Weirdly, it doesn't show up on my YouTube analytics. There should be rodents, should be an extra section there. So I return home, and my goal is to finish this Coursera course, this Google Analytics thing. I just have this case study to do. I have this one case study to do at the end. And like the nerd that I am, I didn't want to do the ones that they provided. I wanted to do one that was of my own data. But I'm beginning to think now I should do one of theirs, the data that they provided, and then use that as a basis for what I'm then going to do. What I did was I scraped a bunch of data. I mean, there wasn't a lot of scraping involved. It was just basically annual reports from our telefilm funding here. So this is the group that gives money away that gives money, you earn it, that basically funds all of the films that happen in Canada. Any Canadian films, basically, there's some kind of funding from Telefilm Canada, and they have, they attempt to be very transparent and disclose all this information. And I was just kind of curious to see who gets the money, and holy cow, there's some companies making a lot of money. I don't know if they're making a lot of money, but they're certainly spending a lot of telefilm money. And I just thought it'd be kind of interesting to see over the years, again, be able to track it. It only goes back as far as 2015, I think. But, and COVID, of course, will do lots of weird things. There were a lot of added funds that, like Jane for Swearing Jar got a COVID relief fund to help her out with that stuff. So start again. Hey, David, how you doing? Checking in from holidays in not so sunny Tenerife. How you doing? I'm doing good, Sherry. Yes. I see. You're starting again because of Hey Davis. I respond to anything, Sherry, especially if you're in Tenerife. How is Tenerife? You said it's gloomy. Really? My neighbor's cat casually strolled through the garden with a huge rat that it caught. See, that's what I need. I guess I need a cat. I was very glad it wasn't one of mine. Wanted to bring it home, bring it in. Yeah, I for years I had many cats. I'm now really allergic to cats, which is just bizarre. I was always slightly allergic to them. I'm now incredibly allergic to them, so we don't have that. I'm also allergic to my dog. I'm not really, but I want to be allergic to my dog. The dog is such a pain in the butt. So I've now done my Burn and Learn for the day. I did 25 minutes at a not terribly high setting because it's been a long time. And I tell you, my little wimpy arms like really feel it more than anything else. Speaking of Cabinet of Curiosities, I hurt my shoulders really badly when I was doing that. There's a lot of crawling and a lot of tense acting and stuff. And I think I did some damage to the muscles up there, and what little muscles there were there. And so for a good 6 months, I couldn't even lift my arms over my head. I mean, it's really awful, putting jackets on and stuff. And even now, there's a bit of tension. But so yeah, I'm sort of taking it a little easy to start. But yeah, I did 25 minutes. I do half backwards, and then I do half forwards. The half backwards I call the Jagger, because the Mick Jagger apparently he walks on a treadmill backwards. That's how he gets his Jagger bottom. So I'm working on my Jagger bottom as well. So I do the backwards walking and then the forwards walking as well. So can you say a char for a edit? Can you say a char for a car? Can you say a car for a edit? Nope, Fabian, I'm not sure I've got that. Can you say a car for an edit? No, don't know. Sorry. I have to try that one again, Fabian. It's what time is it now? 10:30. Okay, yeah, I got a little bit of time, I think. Jane's got her sort of co-worker showing up at 11, so I'll need to have coffee on for her. What other exciting things do I have to tell you? Yeah, tons of stuff to do. I'm meeting with one of my like not childhood heroes, but one of my early heroes tomorrow. I'm doing a Zoom with a fellow by the name of John Mighton, who is this extraordinary educator and sort of education thinker from Toronto, who I did a play with years and years and years ago. He wrote this amazing play that he really did change my perspective on myself and on education. I mean, he was the one who made me realize that, you don't have to be, as an artist, you don't have to just be an artist. You can do science as well. And that, math is not something that you're good or bad at in the same way that people are not good and bad at walking. I mean, as a kid, we sort of, for some reason, as a kid, you go like, oh, yeah, they're just not a math person. Let's get them into the art stream. They don't do that with, talking or walking. They don't go like, I guess they're just not a walker. It's not a talker, whatever. So he's been fighting this what he would call the myth of ability, that there are some people who are good at math and some aren't. And he's the one who made me feel the word genius is just wrong. It's a made up concept. So he's always made me very nervous about using that term. But more importantly, he sort of, I basically taught me to love both the art and the science. So I cannot wait to talk to him. When you mentioned heroes, for whatever reason, I thought you were going to say Flanagan. I wouldn't want to stroke that guy's ego. Flanagan is lovely. I absolutely adore Joe Flanagan. I had a terrible argument with him at the end of, because I have terrible arguments with everyone. I lose my temper. I'm a grumpy bastard. But I lost my temper one time with him near the end of, I think it was season 1. And he called up right away. As I'm driving home, he called up and was like, dude, and was just so sweet about, I think the reality is it's so hard to be in other people's heads. You know what I mean? You just don't know what's going on in there. And Flanagan just his brain works in a different way than mine. But I got to say, he is a truly lovely man. I think I think he's a lovely guy. Absolutely love him. Anyways, he drives some people crazy for sure, but including, as it turned out, including me at one point as well. But once you understand who he is, I think he's just, I got nothing but nice things to say about him. Hi, Dave, Evil Gaming D. Hello to you. Lindsay says that's cool. Candace H says that's exciting. Yay. Hello, everyone. Johnny Wednesday. You're 2 days too early. I'm grumpy too, Candace. Good. I think at my age, I think I've earned my grumpiness at this point. I've been grumpy my entire life, but now I'm better at it. So Burn and Learn's on the horizon. I'm really hoping. I think people will have to please maybe remind me, guilt me into this, please, because I do want to. I gotta stay alive and fit for my wife and family, my wife and son. What did I used to say? Oh my God, I had a little preamble, didn't I? I have to look back at my old things. I used to say hi, this is my Burn and Learn, my attempt to stay fit and something for I have to do that. I'm grumpy too. Life makes too many lemons. It's funny. At my weddings, my best friend said that I was the world's best complainer, but that it comes from a place of wanting to change things for the better. And I've always quite liked that. I've sort of clung to that. I feel like, I'm gonna complain about stuff because I want things to be better than they are. Although I'm sure it drives people nuts after a while. My wife, for once, was me complaining about, as I roamed around Paris, worrying about various different things. What other things do I have to tell you? CNC. Thankfully, got that up and running. I'm really excited to do some more stuff with that. It's going to be cold. I can't get my 3D printer. I can't get it to run in the garage anymore. It's too cold. It says it's below its minimum operating temperature. I got rid of the multi-filament unit, so I have this unit here. I have this, which is a fabulous idea. It allows you to feed in up to 5? Yeah, you get 5 different filaments. Prusa folks are geniuses. I kept having trouble getting my filaments to load, and finally, out of frustration, I took it off, and I'd forgotten how freaking brilliantly simple the Prusa is. And it's just, it was great. I did some. My son went for Halloween as as Watson to his best friends Sherlock Holmes, and they were absolutely. It was delightful. They wore their little bowler hats and things, and so I 3D printed a giant Sherlock Holmes pipe, like literally, it's like this big, giant Sherlock Holmes pipe for my son's best friend who played Sherlock. And then I thought I had a little story in my head where I was like, okay, Sherlock Holmes has a really big pipe, and then Watson wants to be like Sherlock Holmes. He's got like a little tiny pipe. So I printed this little tiny pipe for Baz. So this is kind of cute. Complaining makes things better. It's true. There's nothing wrong with Grumpy. I've been married to Grumpy for 27 years. There you go, Sherry. Yeah, my wife says the same thing, weirdly. So it's 7 degrees Celsius here. I cry. What do we hear? I don't know what we. Oh, I can't because you're on the phone. I can't look at the phone yet. Yeah, 4 degrees Celsius. It's definitely, we're like hovering around. I think we're like 9, 10 around there. This isn't so bad in here. I'm surprised it's not colder in here. And I've got the door open so I can see the rats go by. So, there's that. Yes, so I've got please, everybody, if you haven't done it already, can you sign up for the email of awesome awesomeness? I'm trying to build that list. I'm trying to come up with ways of how can I help get more people on that list, because I find it so much more rewarding than social media. Social media I'm finding really disturbing right now. I mean, there's so many wars and killing and just propaganda on all sides that I'm finding it really it's just not a good place to be. Whereas the email of awesomeness is fantastic because I get people email me back, and it's like, anyway, so go check out techbandits.org and sign up for that, because the new one of those will be out, I think, tomorrow. Actually, if I can get my stuff together, I'll be sending that off tomorrow. I've got to record the email audio awesome, as I call it. I do like a live recording not a live recording. I just record it. I'm alive when I'm recording it of the whole email, so people don't have to wade through all that pesky writing and stuff. So similar to here in the UK, it is disturbing. It is, yeah, 32 degrees Celsius in Western Australia. Thanks, Wayne. God, I loved Australia. I want more conventions in Australia. That was, oh my God, we had the best time out there. Although I got to say, Paris was pretty great too. Australia, you got a lot to compete with. I mean, Paris is a tough one to beat. But I got to say, Australia, definitely one of our favorite. It is disturbing, Candace. It is. The world is an extraordinarily effed up place right now, and it's very hard to know what to believe or who to trust. And I just, oh God, yeah, it is amazing to me how truly evil people can be to each other. I can't. I guess as I get older, it becomes more disturbing to me. But it's yeah. Yeah. It's horrific. Pac-Man D3, thank you so much for signing up. That's fantastic. I appreciate that. So now I really have no excuse. I've got to get that thing recorded and off today. Rain mesh, not so much. Snow, never. Tomorrow, 42 degrees Celsius, bearable with AC. Yeah, I'll bet. Jesus, that is warm. Twitter mostly makes me depressed now. Yeah, that was my problem. I used to love Twitter. And I still find cool stuff on Twitter. And I still find cool stuff on LinkedIn as well. But more and more, I'm just finding the politics and religion and everything just gets shoved into the feed now. And war and I mean, not that I don't want to know about it. I mean, I listen to, I try to listen to BBC Global News every day. I try to get like at least the BBC's opinion of what's going on. I know it's not completely unbiased or anything, but it's a start for me. It's not just the Canadian news. We wake up in the morning to like the CBC news, and then I will put on my BBC podcast and listen to this of the global news, because I find I don't like just knowing about Canada. I want to know about the world. I feel like we've lived in so many parts of it now that I want to know more about it. Movie stuff, yeah, movie stuff's great too. I've been watching, weirdly, for a guy who's complaining about horror and evil in the world. I've been watching a lot of horror and evil on in the way of movies. Had some really fun. Baz and I watched Baz Bag of Chips, my Tech Bandits friend, his best friend, and Baz and I watched Five Nights at Freddy's this weekend and really enjoyed it. I mean, it's so silly. It's so incredibly silly, and it probably won't mean much to people if you haven't watched the game or done the games. But the games are basically just jump scares. They're just, you have like a series of buttons. You have to open and close doors to stop these horrendously terrifying anatomical creatures from leaping in and biting your head off. But it's a really fun game, and my son and his friends seem to really enjoy these jump scare games. And the movie does a really good job, I think, of sort of tying it all together into a kind of a silly Hollywood approach. I don't know why they have to make movies. I don't know. Like, I really don't know. I guess it's another way to squeeze a few extra dollars out of the franchise. But to me, I'd much rather have seen like some kind of really cool YouTube series or something like that. Like, the lore is what really, I think, got people interested. I mean, the jump scares brought the kids in for that, and then the lore, all this incredible lore that the writer, whose name I don't remember, but the stuff he brought in to sort of beef up, this very simple premise is just great. I mean, it's silly, but it's really great. I've not watched the new Barbie movie yet. I don't know why I'm resisting that, but I really am. I resisted that and also Oppenheimer. I just felt like it was just such this giant marketing nonsense. Oppenheimer I really enjoyed while I was watching it, and then talking about it afterwards, it turned for me. I found myself like frustrated by a lot of Oppenheimer as well. I don't like it. I did too, but it's so good. Is it really good? Severe lack of decent sci-fi at present. Well, they're not making movies, right? They're just not making movies. There's no actors aren't allowed to work right now if you're in SAG. I mean, you're allowed to if you're local, so I can work on Canadian stuff, but I can't work on American SAG stuff. A few things have started up a bit. I think there's an M. Night Shyamalan one, whatever his name is. I shouldn't say that. It's terrible. No, I just don't. I can never remember his last name. But I've been so disappointed in his stuff. Like I loved the whatever it was, the Senses one, and I loved Unbreakable. But then, yeah, I just God, it was so. And I'm sick of the Marvel stuff too. Oh my God, Wayne, I'm so with you. I'm so freaking sick. This is why I watch. Okay, Wayne, this is my recommendation to you. Watch horror. I'll tell you why. Because horror, even if it's terrible, at least it's surprising. And I'm so sick of not being surprised by films. Like, I'm so sick of knowing what's going to happen based on who the actors are, based on all the stupid, standard formula stuff that gets spat out by Hollywood now, and not even by Hollywood, just by filmmakers in general. I feel like every time I watch a movie, I'm not watching someone have an experience. I'm watching someone's version of someone else's experience. Like, it feels like a photocopy of a photocopy. That's how bad these films feel. And the Avengers stuff and the Marvel stuff, yes, it's sort of fun in a kind of a fluffy popcorn way, but I don't know why they bother with the acting scenes and these emotional things where you're just like, shut up. Like, what the hell? Just blow stuff up if you're going to do that. I'm really, really frustrated by film and TV, and it's one of the reasons, again, why I find myself on YouTube. Like, I'm seeing these, like, really crazy, creepy, like, YouTube videos or really informative YouTube videos or really entertaining YouTube videos or online stuff. And then in the horror department, horror is such an all-encompassing, it's the most embracing and all-encompassing genre, because there's comedy, there's musical, there's thriller, there's detective, there's noir, there's sci-fi. It all gets mushed into this horror genre, and every so often you find these cool little films. I mean, I'm trying to think of ones that I've seen. I've seen these really bad ones too. I just watched beautiful effects in it in this Mad Hatter movie I saw. I wouldn't recommend it, but there was some beautiful fire effects in it. Again, this is it. Like, I feel like I watch them almost like homework now, where I'm just looking for something different, looking for something crazy and new. Hey there, thank you for your amazing work. You were my mother and I favorite character in SGA. Oh my God, thank you. Well, I was also my favorite character in that, so we have a similarity there. David, good morning and greetings from Monterrey, Mexico. Alicia, how are you? Not a lot of good movies lately. No, and there's going to be a dearth of movies for a while, because until they start back up again. I don't know what the deal is on the strike yet. I'm assuming it's almost over, is the sense I get, but I don't see stuff coming back before like January, frankly. I don't think we're going to be back in production until the beginning of January. And that's just a guess. That's literally just my guess. And if that's the case, most of these movies take at least 8 months to get finished up, and the bigger ones even more. So it could be a while before we see any sort of new, really good big ones. Alicia, thank you very much. It is good to see you too. Spanish horror movies are so good. They are. They're so good, but I often have to pirate them because I can't get them anywhere else. Shudder is pretty good at showing that kind of stuff. The problem with pirated foreign language films, foreign languages to me, obviously, is that they often don't have the right subtitles, or their subtitles aren't very good. So, a few shows I've been waiting on, say January. Oh, really? Is that what they're saying? Yeah. Thoughts on Rebel Moon? I haven't seen Rebel Moon. I've got no thoughts on it because I don't know. That's probably why we're watching David on a Monday morning. The super fans are here. Woohoo! Yeah, only the super fans. It's so nice to be doing this again. I got to say, I forgot how sort of therapeutic this was. I guess it's also all those endorphins running through my system now because I've done my 25 minutes of exercise. Laugh. My 16-year-old niece told me yesterday, Uncle Wayne, I found this awesome show called Stargate. I'm like really never thought it would travel through generations. Yeah, it's weird. What's weird was at Paris, I was meeting more younger people than older people, which was really odd to me. Like I thought there would be people. I just assumed that it would age up, but it does seem to be a lot of people getting signatures for their parents, to be honest, like just to make you feel really old. I was a child. I wasn't born when it was on. That kind of stuff. So have you watched RRR? Oh, I know, it's great. It's fantastic. Yeah, that's absolutely freaking brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, crazy nonsense. Yeah, check it out. Triple R. It's fantastic. My husband is hard of hearing and so many dreadful subs. Yeah. So Sherry, I too am hard of hearing now, and I've lost a lot of hearing in my left ear, and I find it very, very difficult to hear what's happening, especially when there's music and stuff. So I drive my family crazy because I get them to turn the subtitles on for a lot of stuff, even when it's in English. Atlantis has always been your favorite. Well, good, Candace. Keep it that way. Stargate is one of my favorites. All my animal pets have Stargate names. So good. Okay, good. Napoleon does look interesting. It's true, Wayne. Napoleon looked interesting, and also that other one. What's that one about the AI? It looks stupid. Like it looks like a stupid concept, but I sorry, I shouldn't say that because I don't know anything about it. But it just looked kind of, oh my God, AI is a child, and I don't know, whatever. But it looked glorious. Holy crap, the effects looked just insane. That might be worth going to a theater and seeing in awesome IMAX. I don't understand IMAX though. Like I got to say, like I watched Oppenheimer and I was like, I don't know why you filmed this on film. I don't know why you did it in black and white like that. I didn't understand. One of the things you can guarantee when you use film is that things will be out of focus. And sure enough, there were like things out of focus in Oppenheimer. It's because they're the very nature of film running over a gate. It's ancient technology. I don't understand why he was obsessed with using it. It just seemed very pretentious to me. But anyways, I miss Beckett's turtles in Atlantis. Yeah. I need new pets. Maybe I should get some turtles. I'm 40, and there was never a greater time in television when SGA was running. It was like going to see a film every episode. Drinks and snacks, too. Oh, good. That's fantastic. That's what I was hearing a lot in Paris. So I was surprised that people in their 30s were when I say younger, that's what I mean. I'm so old. That's what I mean. I have 4 goats. General Hammond, Carter, Teal'c, and O'Neill. Daniel Jackson is my Great Pyrenees. Pretty Kitty, I think you're missing somebody, are we not? What am I, like a rodent? I'm the rat. I'm the little field mouse that runs by. Oh, look, it's Meredith. Rodney McKay's my cat. Oh, good. Cat. All right, I guess. I don't know. Cats. I suppose if you have to have a cat, I suppose that's the way to go. All right, Pretty Kitty. Who am I talking to? I'm talking to Pretty Kitty. Of course she's got a cat, or they've got a cat. It's my favorite. Oh, good, Pretty, as it should be, as it absolutely should be. Okay, Evil Gaming D. Wow. Saw Cube for the first time the other day. Oh, what do you think, Daniel? It's a cool movie, isn't it? My friend made that. I think I'm weird different to so many. Enterprise, my favorite Star Trek. Enterprise is your favorite Star Trek. Really? Atlantis is so much better than SG-1 Universe. Oh, okay, well, thank you. SG-1 Universe was very different. I always say this, but I feel like the hardest time that Universe should have just been called Universe and there were Stargates in it. But because it was sort of pitched as another Stargate, I think people were expecting sort of some kind of an Atlantis or SG-1 type thing. So, my daughter's name is Galaxy. Oh, God, what a great name. What's the craziest thing you've heard of lately? What's the craziest thing you've heard of lately? Craziest thing I've heard of lately is my local school not letting the robotics team use electric drills or power tools. Get that. Some of these kids are 16 years old. They're literally allowed to learn how to drive. And the school is so worried that they might get sued because someone drills a hole in their finger or something, that they have removed the right to use power tools. I think we are I just think this is like, this is how to end civilization. Is like not give our kids the skills that they need, or to let them pursue the things that they're interested in. It drives me freaking crazy. I think that's one of the craziest things I've heard of late in my life. In the world, God knows, whatever. I just got an email from Kelly B, who is also another wonderful Stargate aficionado, who's going to send me a gift package. Apparently, she's got some stuff for me. Cube is amazing. Cube Zero is rather clever, but the first, the best. Yeah, it was never designed to have sequels, Johnny. Cube was designed as a standalone. It was supposed to be, that was it, the end, the over, finished, done. But because, of course, Vincenzo doesn't own the intellectual property. I mean, I'm sure he owns a part of it of some sort. But when it gets distributed, the distributor buys the rights and can do whatever they want with it. And they went and made a bunch of sequels, which I've got to say I have not seen. I've seen clips of, and I would question many of them. Cube Zero, I have heard, is the best of the bunch, but of the sequels. Have you seen the new remake? There was a remake in Japan, which I'm curious to see. But I've heard sort of things about that as well. So, but I don't know. I haven't seen it. So I just couldn't get into universe. Way too much confrontation every episode, and characters just didn't gel to me. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it, John? Yeah, there you go. Love Cube. It's funny talking to Elijah Wood. That was my in with Elijah Wood. Actually, was that he had worked with my friend Vincenzo on a film called Paris Je t'aime, which is sort of I love Paris type thing. And it was a series anthology of films, and he did a film with my friend Vincenzo. And so I sort of mentioned that and said how much Vincenzo had liked working with him and stuff. And so we started talking. He said, "Oh God, yeah, Cube. I really love Cube and stuff." And he said, "Oh my God, wait a second, you were in Cube, right?" So it was kind of a fun. That was my connection with him. So, and did you change your headquarters? I did, kind of. So right now. I'm in the garage. I'm a little worried about it for the winter because it's going to be really cold. I was starting to do some insulation above me. No, that's wood. Where's the insulation? Oh, it's further up. There you go. I was starting to do some insulation because I thought that might help. And then I discovered how rotten the roof. It's still live, right? Sorry, I got a phone call, so I don't know if it's actually going to keep going or not. I've been live for 46 minutes. Holy cow. That may actually be my wife. Yeah, I'm sort of turning it into the McKay cave, sort of. It's like, yeah. So I've got a bunch of stuff there. Unfortunately, there's been some issues, and I don't know whether it's because of the hot and cold or maybe the humidity and stuff. Like my computer stopped working. I've had a bunch of technical issues and electrical issues because it's literally got, for a nerd, I've got one circuit. But I've just done a huge renovation in the basement so that we can have the Twins of Evil. My fabulous nieces are staying in our basement because it's too expensive to live in Toronto and go to U of T. They're brilliant. They're lovely. They were sitting on the couch together, and I was like, you know what? I really like having you guys around. It's really fun having two smart, funny, happy, beautiful, young women, just hanging out the house. It's great. Baz ordered too much pizza the other day while we were away, and so we invited them up, and they came up and had Papa John's pizza together. So it's freaking great. It's just great, and it's just nice to feel like we can sort of help out with that. So, anyways, but as a result, we spent way too much money finishing the basement, and I entirely underestimated how much work I had to do in here to make this sort of livable. So I'm gonna get by this winter, hopefully earn a little money and maybe save a little, and I'm gonna have to get the roof replaced, which is, it drives me crazy. But yeah, it's just the weather is brutal on this stuff, right? It's absolutely brutal. If you don't build it right the first time, there is water will go anywhere it can in the form of ice or rain or whatever, and then you just bake that sucker and it rots away into nothing. So yeah, there's a whole section of the roof up here that I'm going to have to replace. So it didn't seem any point in shoving perfectly good insulation up there if it's just gonna rot. So I basically I think I've kind of given up on it for this part of the year. But I'm wondering if maybe there's a way to hang some blankets and put a heater up or something without igniting myself. But you try to make it a little warmer. I've also, I got the torture device. The torture device is in here. I did my exercise in here today. That was my Burn and Learn was on that for 25 minutes, and it wasn't unpleasant. I'm a little worried about the air quality because I think it's probably pretty dusty and stuff, so I'm not sure how good it is for me. I might see if there's get an air filter or something. But all right, I've got to go because yeah, it's almost 11 when people start arriving for work and stuff to work with Jane. So I got to go get coffees on and things. I struggle with the universe. Yeah, a lot of people did. Much to be tried too much to be fashionable. Yeah, I guess it. Yeah, it's that nihilistic. The nihilistic stuff was kind of in. Don't you need the garage for a car? Oh, Digital Senior, good point. We don't own a car. We do not own a car. I was looking at trying to keep this section free so that at least you could sort of come in sideways and park, because it's a double garage. So I thought they could park sideways here if they needed to. But honestly, we got too much stuff. I need the room. So I've sort of like selfishly taken it all over and just assumed we could just park on the street if we need to. So happy you're back, David. Any ETA on next stream? Nocturne, good point. I don't know. I want to talk to. I've been trying to talk to Lance on a regular basis. I want to talk to him weekly and start getting his story down in some kind of a format. And I thought the best way of doing that was to record it. We recorded it not live the first time, and I think we should maybe go live with it. Like I think we should do something like this, but with just me talking to Lance, just because he's got a fascinating story. He's always wanted to get it down. I'd love to help him do that. And also, he's just an interesting guy to talk to, just a fun guy to talk to. So I want to do that. And then I also, I will be doing my email of awesomeness. Get on over to techbandits.org. Sign up for that, because tomorrow morning that goes out. I've got to record that today. That's one of my pieces of homework. Yeah, so that's basically it. And then yeah, I try to do a live stream every so often. I've sort of been off the live streams recently. I don't know why. But I'll tell you when I'll be back. I better be back tomorrow with another Burn and Learn. That's like, don't I? Like I kind of got to do this every day, don't I? Maybe it's every other day. I don't know. I'll see how I feel tomorrow. I could wake up tomorrow and go like, I can't move. But in my obsessive way, I would love to do this every day. It'd be amazing. It'd be fantastic to go that route. So, anyways, all right. I will say a fair and adieu until we geek again. I'll say cheerio and huzzah, and yeah, we'll talk soon. Thank you. Yeah, it's fun. I'm back. It's the Burn and Learns. We'll see. Back for one. It's gonna be really embarrassing if I only do one. Then you don't see me for another year. But I'm hoping that's not the case. So feel free to nag and mock and deride if you can. If you see that I'm not following up on it, because it would be nice to get a little fitter. Maybe lose a couple of chins. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. All right. Cheerio. Thanks everyone. Have a good one. I have no idea how to end this. There's a button somewhere, I'm sure, that says end. Bye. It was so much fun to listen to. Thank you, Brick Tech. 2024 is soon. Thank you, iNocturne. What, in case I didn't know? In case that snuck up on me? All right. Be safe, be kind, be brilliant. Until we geek again, I'll say cheerio and huzzah!